What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another exclusive interview on the Winning Mentality YouTube channel with another man, dear to my main man, Adrian Keator's heart, Mr.
Yes.
Danny Rose. How are you, Danny? You good?
I'm very well, yourself?
Yeah, decent, and I'm sure Mr. Keator is very excited for this as well. I've heard some background stories that Danny is the greatest FIFA player in Mansfield, so...
Danny's yet to play me, so we'll get beat.
Oh, we'll sort that one out. I've just seen that Amari's played today, hasn't he?
Yeah. He lost against Watford 3-1 in the first game.
Good, is it?
Oh,
It's not good.
Okay,
I'll get on to him.
So we're doing exactly the same sort of stuff as usual, but Adrian will be taking more of a prominent role this time because of Danny's big-time role with Mansfield. So I'll be covering what has happened before and what potentially may happen in the present. So Danny, you came through at Barnsley, and you played with Jacob. Well, which is a weird one, as you have done for every single club you've been with, following around like a bad smell, maybe. So how was it like coming through Barnsley, your hometown club, and actually scoring quite early on in your career against Burnley in the FA Cup?
Yeah, it was perfect for me. Obviously, living 2 minutes down the road as well. It was my friend's a massive Barnsley fan, so it was perfect for me. We had a very good youth team back then. If I remember right, there was me. Who was playing now with me, John Stones, Jordan Clark, who's at Accrington now, I believe, and they're doing very well. So it was a very good setup. It was a very good youth team, and we did well. And luckily now, us three are still playing professionally, and still keeping contact with them. And it's good to see them doing well. Yeah.
And we asked Jacob about John Stones when you played, and you obviously probably had an even better view of him, really. Did you see him when you were playing with him at the time? Did you see him elevating himself through the levels like he has done?
We was all doing well at the first years and second years as a scholarships, and I think when we turned to his first year pro, we came back. Weirdly enough, it was under Keith Hill and David Flitcroft at the time. He came back that pre-season. He just came back. He must have shot up 6 inches. He was fit. He was strong. He was unbelievable on the ball, and everyone looked and thought, "This guy's going to go places," kind of thing. And he did. And fair play to him. He deserves everything that he gets, and he's done very well for himself. And so is Jordan Clark as well. He's at Accrington now. Hopefully he'll probably get a better move as well. So it's good to see. Yeah.
And do you think with Stones, we asked Jacob this, do you think that perhaps because of his playing style he's a little bit maligned in the press and in fan bases?
Yeah, 100%. He's perfectly suited to Manchester City as well. He's not been playing as much as we'd hoped for, but the past 2 seasons he's been very good for Man City, and I'm confident that he'll come back to his best. So I've no doubts about that. Yeah, he'll be absolutely fine. Absolutely.
And you then moved on to Bury. At 21 years old, leaving your hometown club, how did it feel to move away from a club that you'd obviously grown up watching almost?
That was tough emotionally. I can remember breaking down in tears actually. We came back pre-season, it was under Danny Wilson, and I'd just been on loan at Bury the season before the end of the season. I did all right, to be fair. I scored in a few sub appearances, and we came back pre-season and I was fit. I started the first game against Crawley. I didn't really have the best of games, to be honest. I was pretty poor, and I always knew there was interest from Bury because of my loan the previous season. So it was a decision that I had to make, and I felt it was best to probably move on because I don't think I was going to play as many games as I wanted at that age. I felt like I think I was 20 at the time, and I've not played that many games for Barnsley. I think it was a few sub appearances, which was good. Don't get me wrong; it was my dream to play for Barnsley, but I felt like I had to move on just for my own career, and I don't really regret it, to be honest. So I went to Bury, and the first season I enjoyed every single second of it. We got a promotion. We did very well. The first 6 months, I think we were top of the league, but we had a bit of a bad January to, I think it was December to February time. We had a bad time there. We didn't really pick up many good points. So it was good to get the promotion. We just got over the line, and we had a very good group there. The lads were absolutely terrific.
Yeah, and obviously, I think I saw you the season afterwards. I saw Swindon versus Bury at the county ground, and I think Bury won 1-0. I was very impressed with David Flitcroft and the way that he set up the team. What are your thoughts on him? Obviously, you've been with him for a while at a number of different clubs. What are your thoughts on David Flitcroft?
It was good, yeah. I'll always be thankful to him because he was the manager that gave me kind of a little bit of a chance at Barnsley. I scored my first goal under him at Barnsley, and then he did very well and kept Barnsley up somehow when it was pretty obvious that we was going to go down, and somehow we managed to stay up, which was unbelievable at the time. And he got the sack the season after, and when he got the job at Bury, he was always kind of like messaging me saying what was going on, kind of thing. Because I think he always wanted me to go there, and I did enjoy it at Bury. It was really good, yeah. And then obviously things didn't work out with Bury in the second season, so I think it was time to move on. We had Tom Pope and Leon Clark at the time, and they were massive hitters at League One level. They both did very well that season, so playing time was limited. I felt like I had to move on. I could have moved on in January, I believe, in the second season at Bury in League One. I think it was, weirdly enough, I think it was Mansfield that wanted to come in on a loan with a view to a permanent. But I kind of wanted to stay and fight for my place. I felt like I could have somehow got into the team, so I wanted to fight for my place. But then I think it was the end of the second season. I felt that the right time was to move on. I think they made it clear that they wanted me to move on as well. So it was the right thing to do for both parties. Yeah,
and what are your thoughts on obviously the current situation at Bury? A very, very sad one, and a lot of people have been giving a lot of good testimonials about Bury. What do you think happened there that obviously led to them being like they are at the moment and obviously no longer in existence?
It's a tough one, to be fair. It was a strange situation because they got a chairman in who had obviously had a lot of money and spent very well at that level for League Two. I can remember they bought some very good players, Danny Mayer being one of them, Jim McNulty. I think we had Nick Pope at the time as well in goals. So there was some unbelievable players. And then out of nowhere, we seemed to move to Carrington in the January, which was strange. We got on a 5-year lease, and it was a strange one, to be fair. I didn't really know much at the time. I was only 20-year-old, so I was pretty naive to what was going on. But it was a strange one going on, and then obviously it's happened now with the new chairman. I've seen statements that he's made, which was absolutely ridiculous. But it was great to see Bury kind of end on a high last season. I still keep in touch with Danny Mayer now, so he told me everything that was going on, and it sounded a bit of a shambles, to be honest with you. But it was sad to see him go under. I'm just hoping they can fetch it back somehow, which I'm pretty sure that they will be able to.
Yeah, and finally from me, I just wanted to know how you're currently dealing with the current situation in lockdown and this pandemic. How are you finding it, and what's the toughest challenge that you're facing?
The toughest one is being on your own. Unfortunately, I'm isolating on my own. I live alone, so it is tough. You was used to going in every day, seeing the lads, having a good laugh with them, training hard, coming home. You kind of go into a routine, and now you had to change your routine. To be honest with you, I'm pretty used to it now. So it's been a good 2 months, which I'm sure you lot are. But there's only so much fence painting and FIFA that you can play. I'm sure that you two know that it does get a bit boring after so long, and you do lose your head. But it's tough. But we've got to get onto that. To be honest with you, I'd be very surprised if football was to restart this season. I don't think it's in a situation where, especially Leagues 1 and 2, have financially got the money to test players to keep it going behind closed doors. I think it's going to be a tough one. I believe that Premier League may start, obviously behind closed doors, but I'd be very surprised if the FL would start.
Yeah. So, Mr. Keita, talk about. I think you got some questions from the Mansfield for Danny. So,
I mean, do we start off easy or do we start off difficult?
No,
we'll start off easy. So, I've got a few questions for you, Danny. Ross asks, who is the best player you have ever played with?
I could name a couple, to be fair. Obviously, John Stones. His CV speaks for himself. Manchester City, centre half, England. So I would have to put him up there, and he was unbelievable. Jordan Clark as well, done very well. Ben Whiteman, one I've got to throw out as well, who came to Mansfield on loan. I'm sure you two are very aware. He's done very well for himself, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a move to the Championship. And one more I'd say with Danny Mayer. I'm still very close with Danny Mayer. He's done very well. He played Championship. He's come down a couple of levels, but I said to him many a time, why is he in League Two? Because he takes the mickey sometimes out of players in League Two, and he's done it to us over the past few seasons. So I'd probably name them for you.
Mark Nicholson asks, do you see your future being with Mansfield Town?
I can't see why not. I'm absolutely loving it, to be honest with you. It's close to home. I'm playing as much as I'd like. The lads are good. The manager's good. I can't see why not. Not at all.
Ian Hibbert asks, things obviously didn't work out under John Dempster. Do you think the inexperience showed?
It was a tough job, regardless of who was in charge. Obviously, he took over from what was a hangover from last season. I think that showed in the first few performances. I think some of the lads have said it before in interviews. We didn't get off to the best of starts. Pre-season probably wasn't as good as we have hoped for. And it was kind of a snowball effect that just went on and on throughout the season. And ultimately, John Dempster did lose his job, but we've got to take responsibility as players because we didn't perform the way, and you lot should know that we didn't perform at the levels that we could from last season. So the chairman took that decision, and I feel like performances have improved under the new gaffer. But with what's going on now, there's nothing you can do about it.
Just bouncing off John Dempster, do you think you were tested enough in pre-season, or do you think it was a bit of a underperforming pre-season?
It was a all right pre-season. It wasn't the toughest pre-season I've had. Pre-seasons before under other managers, I've had very tough pre-season, but this one wasn't as tough. I think the lads knew that as well. And I think it showed, to be honest with you, in games at the start of the season. We was going. I remember one game was 2-0 against Leighton Orient second half. We conceded 3, which wasn't ideal. I think that showed, to be honest with you. So I think pre-season was the start of something that was always like going downhill kind of thing. But it was a very good guy. I can't speak highly of Dempster. I enjoyed my football under him. I feel like I did well under Dempster, and I can't speak highly enough of him. He was a very good guy, but these things happen in football. If you're not really up to the level that the chairman expects, then that's what happens.
100%. Martin Yates asks, do you feel you have been getting good service to suit your style with the amount of missed chances that you've had and the others have had? So the service that you've been given by obviously the balls and your playing style, obviously flicking headers on to players like Nicky. Do you think you've been given enough service?
I would say so, yeah. I think me and Nicky have got a good goal return this season. Obviously Nicky's first season as well. He's got 14 or 15, I think he's done very well this season, and it's really good to play with him. And I think also Andy Cook as well, who's gone out on loan to Tranmere. I think all the strikers have chipped in this season, which has been good. So I can't really grumble about the service. No, I think we've been getting good service. I think we have been missing a few chances, but if you're scoring every chance, then you're not really going to be in this division, are you? So we're going to miss chances. That's the bottom line. But I feel like we've took enough chances this season, but it's ultimately it's not been good enough at all. And I'm sure you're aware of that.
Craig Foster asks, after your horrific head injury away at Newport, is that always on your mind every time you go up for a header?
It was. I think it was 2 months I was out for. I remember the first game back against Exeter, I was on the bench, and I'll be honest, I didn't really want to come on, and I didn't come on, thankfully. I for the first few months, I didn't want to go for headers. I don't know if that showed. I don't know if anyone noticed it, but the ordeal I had to go through, the broken jaw was awful. The diet, there was just lack of food, lack of energy for 2 months. It was sore. It was everything. It was. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It was horrific. But now I feel brilliant. The jaw feels fine. I feel like I'm going up for headers, winning more headers. But at the start, I was very, very shook up by it. Yeah.
Jay Freeman asks, where do you see the Stags going under the current manager, and if he has the backing of the previous 3 in charge? So where do you see the Stags going under Graham Cochran?
Well, I feel like performances have improved since, I think it was January they came in. I feel like performances have improved. He's come in and identified that we weren't fit enough, which was quite clear, to be honest with him. He's got us fit, he's got us sharp, but he's had to be aware that we've got games every Saturday and Tuesday, so he's not really been able to get us as fit as he wanted. He's had to kind of cram it into one, which isn't ideal. But I feel like if he gets he will get a pre-season. I'm very sure of that. When he gets his pre-season, it's going to be very tough, which I'm not looking forward to. I'll be honest, because it's going to be a very hard pre-season. He's big on running stats. He wants to run all over teams, which is fair enough. So I feel like this pre-season is going to be very tough, but it'll stand us in good stead for the new season. Yeah.
Jack Hardiman asks, what has been your favourite moment at Mansfield Town so far?
I'll probably go off the wins again. The win against Chesterfield was that was probably up there. Yeah, Mal Benning getting the other goal. I didn't realise how big the derby was, to be honest with you. Only turning up to the game, I realised that this is a proper derby. This is one of the best derbies I've played in, to be honest with you. I didn't realise how big it was. We've smashed Notts County a couple of times, which has also been very good. The Lincoln one, I think we beat them 1-0 a couple of years back, and then Jacob Ellis got one last season, which got us a very good point. So I feel like probably the derby one, have been right up there.
Which derby do you think has been the biggest with you playing at Mansfield? Notts County, Chesterfield or Lincoln?
In terms of a rivalry?
A rivalry.
Yeah, it's definitely Chesterfield. I didn't realise at the time. I remember the home game, we played them and we drew them 2-2, but I can't remember it being that hostile as the away game. The away game was unbelievable. I can remember the Mansfield fans. I can't remember how many they fetched. I'm sure that you two was there. But they fetched a few thousand. It was absolute carnage, and luckily we came out on the good side, and Mal Benning stuck one in the back of the net, which it absolutely sent scenes in the away, and I can remember it. I remember it now. Yeah, it was very good, that one.
Well, I'm pretty sure I was there, but I'm not sure about Chris.
Is he not a Mansfield fan?
Nah, mate. I'm here for the neutral ground.
He's a Chesterfield fan, isn't he?
Nah.
I would hate him. I would hate him if he was a Chesterfield fan.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm a Liverpool fan, so you're fine.
Oh, of course, yeah. The background gives it away. I didn't think about that one.
If he was a Chesterfield fan, I would have been talking to him right now. So
yeah, that's absolutely fine. It's the same.
It's a big rivalry. I suppose that's the closest place to Mansfield, isn't it?
Yeah, it's between Chesterfield and Notts County, but obviously both of them are down in the National League. So realistically, the only rivalry we've got is Grimsby, Scunthorpe.
It was yeah, exactly. It was very disappointing to see Notts County and Chesterfield go down just because of the games. To be honest, I remember how good they were, and we always seem to come out on the good side against them. I can't really remember a time where we got beat by them. In the last 4 years while I've been here, can't remember a time where we've come out on the losing end. I can remember the one at Lincoln against. I think that was Flick Cross first game. The Lincoln one, I think Wally Palmer took one in back in it, didn't it? Was that 1-0? I can remember that one.
I think that was 1-0. Yeah,
I think that one hurt us. But apart from that, they've been very enjoyable, and I would like to see them come back up into League Two. To be honest with you, I'm sure that you two
would. Jody asks. What are you doing to keep yourself emotionally and physically fit? And if you've had any lockdown meltdowns?
No meltdowns yet. It's just the same as what everybody else is doing, really. I suppose keeping fit is obviously the main one, but it becomes very tedious on your own. You get into a routine where you're with the lads and it kind of drives you through, and you kind of do more with them because you know that they're doing a bit more, so you want to give a bit more. But on your own, it is tough. There's only so much running you can do, and then obviously, which I'm sure you two are big fans of FIFA, playing FIFA. I had a tournament as well. I had a quarantine tournament where I played Liverpool, Sligo and Coventry.
You won one, drew one, lost one, if I'm not mistaken?
I did. I beat Rian Bruce to 3-1.
Hey! You beat your boy Chris.
I love Rian Brewster, man. It's
I apologize. Yeah, he finished ball match, which I was quite surprised at.
Yeah, he talks himself up. He does talk himself up, Rian.
It should have been Trent. Trent playing for Liverpool.
Exactly.
He's played in the Invitational one, and I've seen that.
Yeah, he lost against Jota.
Yes, yeah. Joe, it was a very good tournament. To be fair, I was good that I went out because I remember we played at Sligo Rovers, and I was 2-1 up in the 80th minute. I conceded last minute, and that would have put me through. Obviously, 2 wins and defeat would have put me through. But It wasn't to be, but it was good, and it was all for good cause as well, so which was good.
100%. Joe Knowles asks, how did you feel after the goal against Oldham last season away was ruled offside?
I'll be honest with you, that I can remember when it went in and got ruled off offside. I can remember saying to myself that just summed up my season. It would have been good. I don't know. I was saying to you two before. I don't know if it would have made a difference massively to our promotion at that point, because ultimately we should have been Stevenage and MK Dons. But I would say it summed up my season. The look, just nothing was going for me that season. It was tough, and I can remember looking back. I don't know if I was onside. I don't know if you two look back at it.
You was onside. Was it
onside?
It was onside.
So there you go. Yeah, that pretty much summed up the season. But it wasn't to be. So there's nothing we can do about it now.
I can just remember screaming at the TV when that goal went in, and then the linesman just flagging it offside, and we just felt like, but that was onside. But it wasn't meant to be. We're still in.
Yes, it was on Sky, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on Sky.
They did a little coverage, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah. It was strange.
Yeah, it was. The end of the season was a bit strange. Well, obviously, we didn't go up, so.
We didn't do enough to get over the line. I don't think the promotion was lost against MK Dons. I think it was lost against Stevenage the week before. That was perfect for us to get 3 points and get over the line. But I can't remember how the scoreline went. I can't remember, was it 3-1, 2-1?
3-2.
Was it 3-2? I can't remember getting back into
I can remember Tyler Walker lobbing the keeper, and then obviously they went up the other end and scored.
Yeah, I think when Tyler scored that goal, I think we got a bit excited, thinking, "Oh, we're going to go on and win this now." And it was a bit naive from us because we left the back door open, and ultimately we got punished.
Gavin Barsby asks, was you upset or shocked following the sacking of David Flitcroft, and was there any other players upset by the sacking of David Flitcroft?
I think there was a lot of shock, yeah, just because of how close we came. Basically, it was one goal, though. We needed one goal and we was up. I think it was a lot of shock, yeah, just because how well we did that season, how well the lads did. It was unbelievable that season. I can remember just watching. It was mainly watching. I can remember how well there was, how fit there was, how sharp there was, the good football there was playing. And like I said, it probably wasn't enough at the end of the season, but it was a positive season. I was shocked personally to see him go. Yeah.
Roy Davis asks, if you were offered a contract by Mansfield, would you take it?
I can't see why not. I've said before that I'm really enjoying. I've loved every minute of it. My 4 years at Mansfield. I think it'll be 4 years this month. Actually, weirdly enough, I've enjoyed every single bit of it. It's close to home. My family love it. My family come to the games. My family come to the away games. I love every single minute of it. So it's perfect for me. Yeah, it really is.
And one of the last questions, Dan Worthington asks, why do you feel that you showed the form under Dempster that you didn't under Evans? You showed the form under Dempster and Flitcroft, but not under Evans.
The season with Flitcroft, I realised that obviously what I'm sure we'll get onto that at some point, the transfer saga that went on with Peterborough, it wasn't ideal. Me not having a pre-season was definitely not ideal at all. I realised that you really do need a good pre-season to stand you in good stead for a good season, and I didn't have that. And I can remember playing Saturday, Tuesday from September to I think it was November, because of we had 3 internationals at the time. We had Piercy, was it Amari and Ryan Sweeney?
Yes,
I think it was. Yeah, so we had games Saturday games where there was getting called off because obviously we could get a free weekend because the internationals. I can remember playing the rearranged games on the Tuesday, so it was really Saturday, Tuesday. And I blew up that season around probably December time because of how many games I played. I can remember getting a few goals at the start of the season, but that season I was absolutely rubbish. Didn't show any form really at any point, and that I would probably put that down to mentally because of what went on pre-season and not having a pre-season. I probably wasn't fit enough or sharp enough.
Did you see yourself going to Peterborough when obviously Steve Evans left to go to Peterborough? Did you see yourself going up a level with Steve Evans?
It was on the cards at one point, yeah. I didn't know too much about it. I kind of left it to the agent side kind of thing. I was getting phone calls every day, which it wasn't ideal because it was distracting me. Which I'll not lie, it was distracting. And I was injured at the time, so I couldn't really take anything off the distraction because I wasn't training. I can remember handing in a transfer request, which I ultimately do regret because it was, like I said, I can remember sending an interview after the Northampton game. It was bad advice from the people that are around me, agents and the peer side. I was told that if the transfer request was going to be handed in, then the deal would probably get done, but it didn't get done. Looking back at it now, I don't really regret it. I don't really have anything bad to show about it because I probably wouldn't have played anyway. I can remember I always kept an eye out for Peterborough's results just because of what happened. And obviously I do get along with Steve Evans because I play my best football for Steve Evans. But I can remember seeing how good they was doing. I think they signed Ivan Toney and Matt Godden at the time. Yeah. And up until Christmas they were top of the league. So he was never going to change a winning side. So looking back at it now, I probably wouldn't have played. I'd have lived away from home. Probably wouldn't have been enjoying it. Whereas at Mansfield, I'm close to home. I'm playing every week. Got a good relationship with the fans, good relationship with the manager, chairman, the lads, everybody. So the grass wasn't greener, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have known 100%. But looking back at it now, I don't have any regrets for staying. Absolutely not.
Yeah, most of the fans, obviously, you give your all, and home or away, you always clap the fans, which most fans are thankful for because you just give your all, and it's fantastic to see.
I can't thank the fans enough, to be honest with you, how they responded. I can remember the game coming back. I don't know if you was there. It was Accrington. Yes. In the Carabao Cup, and I was nervous coming out because I don't know. I thought I was going to get booed, which I did by quite a few of the fans, a small minority. But most of them cheered, and I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, like, why are you cheering for me? Like, I actually don't deserve this at all. So I'm really thankful for the fans with how they've took me back, how they took me on at the start of 2016. Like, I feel like I've got a good relationship with the fans. I can't thank them enough for what they've done for me.
Yeah, and a last question for me would be, what do you think Mansfield will need when the season restarts, and if the season restarts next season? What do Mansfield need, that extra push for us to get promotion, and if we do get promotion, either automatic or playoff?
I think the main thing is to be fitter. If I'm totally honest with you, I feel like now we got fitter before the coronavirus happened. We was picking up good results, or maybe not good results, but we was performing well. I can remember we played Cheltenham just before the Northampton game. We did really well against them, and their side is up there. I feel like we missed out this season. Well, I will say last season because I don't think it's going to get restarted. But we missed out last season because there's teams up there at the minute. I look at Crewe, I look at Cheltenham. No disrespect to them, but I don't think they're better than us. And I'm sure you'll agree. Like, I don't think their squad's better than our squad. But I suppose football's never won on paper, but I feel like we missed out this season. We missed a really good chance to be up there in the top three. I can see one team was up there, and I feel like they are a very good side, which would be Plymouth. But even then, when we went to their ground, we should have been 2-3 up in the first 20 minutes. We missed chances. So we did well against them as well. But results haven't shown our performances, which is fair enough. That happens sometimes in football. But I feel like next season, if we come fitter at the start and we're not playing catch up with the other teams, I feel like we'll be definitely up there. It's a cliche to say, we've been saying it for the past 4 seasons, but I do really feel that we will be up there because the squad's good. The squad's good. It's been good for the past 4 seasons, but we've got to kick on now. We've got to really kick on because we're running out of seasons, to be honest with you. Yeah. So we have got to really kick on, and hopefully the next season will be our season.
Yeah, that's my segment done, Chris.
I think that is a very, very good way to finish it. Thank you very much, Danny, for joining us on Winning Mentality. It's been a real pleasure for all of us to get an insight into your career and how you view things. It's been a real pleasure. I'm sure Adrian will smash you at FIFA next week if he.
Yeah, we'll sort that one out. We'll have a 1v1.
Oh, look at him! He's preparing now. He'll be on FIFA all week.
We'll have a 1v1. I'll get your gamer tag after. Do you know what? I'm rubbish. Ever since I played that tournament, I'm absolutely rubbish. So you'll probably. I think you'll be very good at it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for watching. Drop us a subscribe. We appreciate every single one of you. It's free, and to become part of our family and help us grow, that is a magnificent thing for us. And yeah, it enables us to do more things like this, which is really, really good fun. And yeah, we will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.